Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 53 of the Dunk Dynasty Podcast. Been away for a little bit, but we're back to give you guys all the good basketball content that you seek. Myself here, Panache and Yashanu, with where is he? The Terminator, Jed Mitchell. And then we've also got Eddie Mack, Ethan McDonald here live in the flesh. Lots of stuff to discuss today. The Jamal Murray extension with the Nuggets, Steph Curry extension with the Warriors. Then we're also going to be talking about DeMar DeRozan and his comments that the Kings are going to the Western Conference Finals. Then also, since you guys enjoyed the Russell Westbrook versus Kyrie Irving career all-time, who's better all-time, who's had the better career debate. This time we're bringing it back, but with two different players, Chris Paul and James Harden. So lots of stuff to kick into, lots of stuff to talk about. How's things going over for you guys? Jed Mitchell, how's things going for you, man?
Life is good. It's a little bit chilly at the moment, but snow ripping through on the hills at the moment. But we're doing well, getting closer to training camp in the NBA, and the season's just around the corner. So life couldn't be better.
Ethan, how's things, man?
Oh, mate, just living my best life. Just every day is just a hustle, a grind. Just grinding it out. The weather's been atrocious, though. I mean, I agree with Jed on that. It's meant to be going into spring, nice warmer weather. It was looking really good for a couple of weeks, and now we've got torrential rain, and lots of snow, and it's quite frustrating.
Torrential Dwayne Wade, yeah, torrential Dwayne Wade. That's what we love to see. We love to hear about it. Lots of good stuff happening, man. I mean, Hamilton, we're quite the same. Lots of Wayne, as he says, but we're enjoying life, man. Getting closer to summer. One day closer to Crate Day every day that goes by. So. Lots of celebration. All the people in New Zealand and Australia, I think, know about that. So, Crate Day will be fun when that time does come.
Yeah, in case anyone from overseas is wondering what Crate Day is, this is the general description of what it is. It's you buy 12 big bots of beer, and there's 750 mils each in a crate, and you sit down with all your lads, and you've got 12 hours to sink piss and get steamed. And by the end of it, if you're not vomiting, you haven't done it right.
Exactly. So if you hear a lot of sputtering and stuttering this episode, it's because the accumulation of all those Crate Days is starting to take its toll. But if you are listening for the first time, if you're new, you've seen us on social media, you're listening for the first time, make sure you subscribe and leave us a review, a rating, wherever you're listening to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, all that. Go follow us on social media. Journey to 500 on TikTok. We're getting closer. Journey to 1,000 on Instagram. We're getting closer as well. So make sure you you follow all the content. Make sure you keep up to date with what we're doing. And also, NBA 2K25 just came out. So I'll be on that soon. So if anyone wants smoke, I'll be giving up my username on the socials, and let's get to work, But with that being said, guys, NBA, first piece of news, the Golden State Warriors give Steph Curry, 1 year extension, but it's on top of the contract that he's already on. He's locked in there for another couple of years. Golden State Warriors, what are you trying to achieve here, man? You've locked Steph up, you let Klay Thompson go. This team, what's the direction? What are you guys going to do with Steph? What are you guys going to do to build around him? What's your thoughts there, Jed?
I think it was a no-brainer. You're always going to sign him to the extension, no matter what, 10 times out of 10, no matter how the roster's looking or anything like that. But then when you sign him to the extension, you sit there and you think, okay, geez, it opens the conversation now for where is this team going? What's their plan going forward? And I think they have to be realistic. They're not a championship team anymore. They're too many pieces away from the championship team. So is this about just preserving the Steph Curry legacy and riding out into the sunset with him and trying to be as competitive as possible, being a play-in 6th, 5th seed at best? Or is this about developing the young guys? Or is this about, throwing the kitchen sink at it, trying to find a guy and trying to be a championship team? Personally, I think they should just go all in on a little bit of a rebuild. Like, they haven't really hit in the draft in a while. Kuminga, yeah, he's good. But, you think about all the players that they've had since they started winning those championships, they haven't really had the next man come through. So I think they really need to really need to be patient and probably, go that more rebuild kind of route. They've got a few years left in the playoffs before then, but they need to be realistic. They're not a championship team anymore. That window's well and truly closed. Focus on the future.
Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, it's rare nowadays that you see a player stay with the same team his entire career. And as much as it's like probably pretty detrimental to Golden State and what their NBA, I guess, potential is looking like with the players that they have, it doesn't make sense in probably a character type of action to just try trade Steph Curry for picks. Like he's changed that entire franchise around, and I don't feel like they should, I guess, devalue him by just trading him for picks to rebuild on the future. You know what I mean? Like I guess it's more or less that type of thinking that they're taking rather than, well, let's just rebuild, set up the next 2 or 3 years, and then let's go back into it. I don't think they just want to spend the next 2 or 3 years, try get a couple of pieces around Curry to try and make a push here and there if they can. Probably won't be able to, but I think it's just let Curry see out his career and then go from there. It's detrimental. I get it, but he's the amount of things that guy's done for the team and the NBA. Why would you trade him?
To clarify on what I was saying, I didn't mean trade Steph Curry. I mean just accept the fact that you're not going to win a championship, and all the moves you make from here on out have a long-term vision in play. That it's like you're not going to overcommit trading away first-round draft picks. You're not going to bring too big a contracts in. You're not going to do all those kind of things that may handbrake you once you do have those next guys in. I think that's more what I was meaning. I reckon you commit to Steph Curry, let him finish his career there. But just know, this team is not a championship team, and this team is far off it. Don't sell the future to try win today.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. I think that's why they're so hesitant to move Podziemski, because that's the piece that every single team, when they come calling to the door of the Warriors, that's the guy that they want. They're like, if you want to make a deal, same thing. Danny Ainge, I think, same. If he's going to move Larry Markkinen, he's going to say, yep, you want Larry Markkinen? You bring Podziemski to us. Or we can actually add in Kuminga as well, because we're not going to hand over our piece without getting a key piece of yours. And unfortunately, the situation for the Warriors, which is what we're all saying, is they're so far away from a championship right now that it's not just one player added on to the squad and that's going to change everything. This is not Steph Curry of 2022 or Steph Curry, the unanimous MVP season. This is now, he's going to be 36, 37 years old. Klay Thompson is now gone. So there's probably a reason why they're so hesitant, because it's, is there any player out there that if we got them, they could be the key piece that just moves us from just being mediocre, a play-in team, to all of a sudden being a team that's a top contender? Probably not. The probably player out there is Giannis. You're probably not getting Giannis. Markkinen is not changing everything for you. Markkinen's probably the third guy. If I had 2 established stars, then I was getting Markkinen, then I'd go, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, this is the missing piece that's going to carry us over the top. But if it's just Steph Curry and just Markkinen, that's not doing anything for you. So you may as well, as you say, sit on these pieces here. Unfortunately for Steph Curry, I think he's won 4 championships now. He's probably in that era that Kobe was in with the Lakers when he was finishing up his career, where it's, let me stay loyal. I won multiple rings here. They've done a lot for me. Let me just see it out here. Let me get my farewell tour as a member of this team, a one-team player.
I think the interesting player here is Draymond Green. I think, although I do not rate him highly in his capacity that he is now, but there is definitely teams that Draymond Green's experience, his defensive IQ, all that kind of gritty stuff, that kind of culture stuff that you're not really too proud about, but also is kind of vital in a championship team. There is teams that would have value from adding him. So I reckon that's the piece that if Draymond Green ever goes, hey, I want a little bit of money, or hey, I might want out, I reckon you try flip him, get some picks. The one team that always pops into my mind where I reckon he'd be good, Atlanta. I feel like they've always kind of just been missing someone like him to kind of come in and like humble some of these young guys who are real cocky with their offense and kind of shift that focus and be a little bit grubby. I feel like a team like Atlanta could benefit from him, and there could be a bit of upside there for the Warriors. But Yeah, I don't see it happening, but I'd love to see it happen at the
Well,
same time.
remember, I think a couple of months ago, he said that he was close to signing with the Grizzlies. That's a team I would have loved to see him on, especially a mature present. Well, I don't know if you can call him, but you know what I mean. He's that guy where he's such a glue piece for a championship team. As much as we all want to hate on Draymond Green and, some of the stuff that he does, that's just facts. He's a guy on a championship team that is a glue guy. He's a guy that does the right things. He knows how to win. He plays a winning style, which sometimes means that he's got to have that, that dog in him. He's got to have that, the fierceness or be the enforcer. That's the word I was looking for. But
I
yeah,
don't, the Grizzlies though, I reckon that'll be the worst spot for him. I'm not gonna lie. Like
really.
with the history that they have with Iguodala and that whole kind of rift where it was like Iguodala went there and was like, I'd rather not play than play for this team, and then he goes back to the Warriors and and Memphis hate them. I feel like that little underlying resentment towards that team would kind of eat away at their buy-in. So
no, but he said that no, but the words came up from him. He said that he was close to siding with them. That's what he said.
But I'm talking about like upside for the team. If I'm Memphis, I'm like kind of a little bit skeptical of that. And also, there's kind of that little bit of a culture thing there where that might not necessarily be the perfect thing for them. I think they'd probably more benefit from probably like a Chris Paul or someone like later on in their career that's kind of more of a like a leadership mentality. I suppose Draymond's leadership mentality, but probably less of that grub. They've already got Marcus Smart. I feel like that team's already kind of grit. I don't think they need any more grit and grind, is what I'm trying to say.
Hey man, grit and grind till you die, bro. That's what you need.
Bring back Tony Allen. That's that's who they need.
Hey, shout out the grit and grind Grizzlies. That was an era and a half. But I mean, for me, even looking at this team, I go losing Klay Thompson that's such a massive loss because even as much as people want to say, Klay Thompson was washed, everyone always wants to say, 0 for 10 in an elimination game. That guy still, he caused problems for a lot of teams. Why? Because that 3-point shooting ability. Him and Steph Curry together, the Splash Brothers, for a reason. We were screaming that for 10 years to say these guys are just, it feels like they're ruining basketball because it's such a cheat code. And then now, all of a sudden, Steve Kerr is saying that he wants Podziemski to shoot 8 3-pointers a game to be the new Klay Thompson. No, that's not happening. Klay Thompson is a top 5 shooter of all time. No, you don't just shut the door on him and try to open the door for someone else to be that guy. That's not how it works, brother. We've seen this movie plenty of times. When you try to replace someone internally, you try to replace someone who's left with an internal piece that you already have, things don't usually go the way that you think they're going to go. And looking at this, bro, seems like we're seeing another movie, same story.
I think the Warriors have to be concerned. Like, you think about the amount of talent that they've had come through since KD left. When you're like, we got
Paul,
Andrew Wiggins, D'Angelo Russell. And then it kind of gets like, Jordan Poole, who was good for a little bit, but he's kind of showing his true colors now. But then you had like Jordan Bell, Pascal. You have now you've got Pominski and Kuminga. These aren't names that scream. Like, if there was no Steph Curry on this team and you're like, this is my young core, I would be really concerned.
I think, P, on your Klay Thompson comments, I agreed wholeheartedly that Klay Thompson is a top 5 shooter and that the gap that he's and the hole that he's going to leave in that team is insane and lots of pressure on Curry. But I think you guys are forgetting that they did get Buddy Hield over the offseason. And Buddy Hield is the best 3-point shooter over the last 5 years. He's made the most. Like, that's saying something. Buddy Hield's going to go down as a top 10 shooter, potentially top 5 when he's done. Like, I would say so. And him having him next to Curry is going to take so much pressure off Curry as well. I mean, I understand Klay Thompson probably brought more to the defensive end and even probably gameplay than what Buddy Hield's going to bring. But Buddy Hield's no slouch when it comes to shooting the 3. And that's going to take pressure off Curry.
If they do anything with this team, I'd be very surprised. I mean, that's a great point you make about Buddy Hield, but holy, if they do anything with this team, like go past the play-in, I would be very impressed. If they make it to the playoffs, if they make it to the play-in itself, I'm just going to be very impressed. I'll go insane season. You guys done well. You guys overachieved because with this roster, bro, hey, I know we screamed free Meek and he was free. We screamed free Young Thug. He's yet to be free. Steph Curry's next on the list. Free Steph Curry because free him from the shackles of this team. They're bringing him down. I wanted to see him do well. I mean, maybe the gold medal is the last championship sort of piece that he gets. If so, I know it is for LeBron. If it is for Curry as well, what a way to go up. Because, yeah, if you're not winning anything with the Warriors, they're so far away from a championship. And, I mean, they missed the window. They had so many guys they could have traded. You say it before. Pascal, you had Wiggins, you had Paul, you had Moody, you had Wiseman. You could have flipped those guys when it was at their, their peak value to get a superstar into the team. Instead, you said, let's ride it out with these guys. And then you had another opportunity to move them again. And you said, well, let's give them one more chance. And now we sit here in 2024. Klay Thompson is gone. James Wiseman is gone. And Andrew Wiggins, I mean, what? He's still there, but is he going to be the same player? Hopefully he sort of recovers back to the player that he once was. Pascal is gone. So there's not many players that you could have, moved at their peak value that are left now. And now you're sort of in a situation where we missed the boat. We probably won our last championship in 2022, and now we're sort of sailing off into the sunset. And I feel like the Klay move is the move that started, man. But moving on, guys. Another guy who signed an extension, another point guard. This one from Canada. Jamal Murray signs an extension with the Denver Nuggets. He's there for another 4 years. Nuggets team now heavily invested in Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon. They've already won one championship, obviously, 2023, but now invested heavily in these four guys, building around. They've added Russell Westbrook. They've already got Christian Brown, Peyton Watson. Does this team have the potential to win another chip, given they lost KCP as well? That's a key thing that we need to, make sure we add into that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The Nuggets championship window is still open with the team that they have. I mean, I'm not sure on how long they have Gordon for left. It'll be probably 2 years, I'd say. And they got MPJ, and then they've got Jokic and Murray, and they've also got some star talent on the bench. Like there's a lot of players in that team that can make a difference, and they've got players that are developing like Peyton Watson and that can come through and can fill the void when those other players get injured or go down, or they need a bit more of like security on shooting wise and those type of things. I think the Nuggets will 100% be in the finals again this year against the Celtics, and it's be tough to see who's going to win that, but it'll be close. But the Nuggets have, with Jokic and Murray just leading the way, Gordon adds enough value, and then MPJ is going to take another step forward.
The Nuggets are going where?
Yeah, I'd like to say just then, I seen P's eyes pop straight out his head.
Well, you don't think they're going to the finals?
No, he doesn't think they're going close.
No,
mate,
absolutely not.
What? You got Oklahoma going up there or something like that?
The thing is, I reckon about this whole conversation, the rest of the West is getting so much better, and the Nuggets are slowly digressing. Yeah, the championship window is 100% open, but like Jamal Murray, you need to stay healthy. You need to play a full season, and you need to just not elevate just in the playoffs. You need to be good all year round. Like the key here is always going to be MPJ. Like whether they trade him or whether he like finally comes into that player they've always wanted to be. Yeah, comes of age. If he finally like stops bidding the unders on himself like his brother does, But like, I don't know. The rest of the West is getting so much better. The Dallas Mavericks, if they're able to sustain what they're doing, or even add like one other star, like big player, that they're going to be in the contention for the Western Conference Finals and Finals every year. Oklahoma City, everyone knows what's going on there. They have so much talent, and they're set up for success for the next 5 to 10 years. But the Nuggets, they're digressing. That's my issue with them.
Yeah, because there's no improvement. I feel all these other teams around them have all added, like the pieces that we think are the big guns have all done something. And that was my problem with the Timberwolves, where I said, the Timberwolves added Joe Ingles. And I went, oh, did that move improve you? And then I'm looking at the Mavericks. They added Klay Thompson to an already stacked team that went to the finals. And I'm saying, the Nuggets, you lost KCP, who I think was the key piece to that team. MPJ and KCP open up the court so much. And we saw what happens when Christian Brown and Peyton Watson both come in. And that was my question after KCP left. Who's going to be the fifth starter? Because that lineup of Murray, KCP,
Westbrook.
MPJ, Gordon, and Jokic has been arguably the best, lineup over the last 3-year stretch in terms of their plus minus, just insane. And if you say Westbrook, no, absolutely.
You watch the resurgence of Westbrook for the Nuggets, bro.
You saw the resurgence of Westbrook when they sag off him, and now what? What are you going to do? He can cut to the basket off Jokic, yes, but he needs to open up the court for Jokic to succeed, which is what KCP did, because you've got to guard how many shooters? MPJ, KCP, and Jamal Murray. They open up the court so much. Westbrook comes in there. You're starting to clog things up, man. There's not so much room to work. And I'm not trying to, I'm not saying what Windhorse said, which was, what did he say? He said, I don't want Westbrook to shoot threes anymore, which was pretty outrageous. But, I mean...
I don't want Windhorse to eat any more burgers, but he does that anyway.
Me personally, bro, Nuggets, you're not moving, bro. You're not moving anywhere. January 24th, 2017. I remember it like it was yesterday. LeBron James, what did he say about the Cleveland Cavaliers? We're top heavy as what? We're top heavy. That's what we are. And that's what the Nuggets are. Top heavy. You're not winning a championship with 4 players, especially when the rest of your roster is literally Westbrook and Saric on the bench. Who else?
The Celtics just did it with 4 players, bro. What do you mean?
Who?
What?
The Celtics did it with 4 players. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because Drew Holiday, Derek White, Al Horford, and Jaylen Brown. They're 4 players.
I didn't even mention Porzingis and Tatum. Please stop.
Oh, sorry. Porzingis didn't even play. Secondly, Jason Tatum didn't
How did they get to the finals? How did they get to the finals?
Jason Tatum is the 5th best player on that team, and you can't.
How is Jason? This guy has lost his. You have lost your mind. Jason
they had 2 players in the Team USA, and Tatum wasn't one of them.
Right,
he was, but he was shit. He didn't play.
So the Boston Celtics are Team USA.
Derek White played more minutes than Tatum.
Ethan just tried to cook and cooked himself. That was crazy.
People who say that Jason Tatum was the 5th best player of that team, please get yourself tested. That is outrageous.
That's wrong. He was definitely the 6th.
The guy wait, how many players on that Celtics team made the All-NBA first team? 1. Jason Tatum, the best player on that team. There you go. The best player. The best player made All-NBA first team. That's all you need to know.
Wait, you're talking about best player during regular season, not during playoffs? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Okay.
But if Derek White was 6'8", he'd be the best player in the NBA.
Exactly. Yeah, by the way, hey, praise up to
if you were born in America, Jed, you'd be the best point guard in the league.
Hey, praise up to Derek White, man. He got attacked at the Colorado game the other day. So, I mean, I didn't watch the rest of the video, but hopefully Derek White put in that work and got a W for the NBA players. I mean, Nate Robinson didn't get any dubs for them in the ring against Jake Paul, so Lord knows they need a W.
Yeah. Oh, down bad.
Yeah, I'm sure Nate has recovered by now, hopefully.
So, guys, moving on to our next topic, discussing DeMar DeRozan, predicting that the Sacramento Kings are going to make the Western Conference Finals. Valid claim, or is our man DeMar DeRozan delusional with that one?
DeMar, he says, DeMar, I like it.
No, delusional as. Just like, are you serious? They have Fat Man Sabonis in there, and they have Speedy Gonzalez-Fox, and then they have should retire now, DeRozan. Like, come on, please. Get him out of here. Not going to happen. There's too many good teams in the West for them to get there. Way too many good teams.
Do not jump the gun. This is not an outrageous, audacious take.
Oh, yes, it is.
What do you mean it is? There's 4 teams ahead of them that will make it over them comfortably. Like, Nuggets, Mavericks, Oklahoma T-Wolves are all 4 better than them.
4?
Clippers and the Clippers.
I have
Kings,
9, bro. I have
Clippers
9.
And the Kings will be pretty even. You have 9.
Does this team?
Hold on. You have 9.
I have 9 teams better than the Kings going into the season. Clearly better than the Kings going to the season.
In the West.
In the West. I'll list them up. I have this ready to go.
List your 9 better teams in the Kings right now.
Let's go. We've got the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Denver Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Mavericks, the Suns, the Lakers, the Grizzlies, the Rockets, the Pelicans. That's 9.
Pelicans. Well, okay.
9 teams. 9 teams better than the Kings.
Okay, I will give you that the Rockets have have a possible chance to have a better regular season, possibly. But the Rockets are losing in the first round, guaranteed.
Yeah, they can lose in the first round, but at least they'll make it in the first round.
I don't even agree with the Rockets. I agree with the Grizzlies, not the Rockets. The Grizzlies and Phoenix will be better for sure. But other than that, bro, Lakers are going to be bottom 3, bro. Don't even chat.
Bottom 3 of what? They'll be bottom 3 of the last
of
3
the
teams
West.
to make the playoffs. Yeah,
bottom 3 of the West. No.
The thing is, like, will they make the Western Conference Finals? Probably not. Does this team have the potential to make the Western Conference Finals? Absolutely.
Oh, with who? Come on, no chance.
No, they don't.
Hey,
no, they don't.
What? Listen, the only thing we need to do here is just realize this guy is not built for the playoffs. We know he's not built for the playoffs. DeMar DeRozan, that is. And with the rest of that team, no chance. They're not going anywhere. Not even the play-in.
Let's just assume that DeMar ends up playing against LeBron again in the playoffs, and he gets swept again 4-0, which will happen if he plays LeBron. Which won't happen because the Lakers won't make it. But if it did, then what are you going to say then? Oh, it's just LeBron, DeMar, he just can't play against LeBron. But any other team, he would be in the finals. Like, please. The Kings are not making the Western Conference Finals.
I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying that this is not an outrageous call.
It is outrageous.
It is.
It's so outrageous.
De'Aaron Fox is a gun.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox is a gun.
Is a really good player. DeMar DeRozan, really good scorer. This team has a lot of other pieces on there. The thing is, you listed 9 teams that are better than them. 6 of them were absolutely outrageous that I couldn't give you even on my worst day.
6.
What 6 teams were outrageous?
Oh no, 6 of them I could give you possibly. 3 of them definitely not giving you at all.
Because but yeah, go yeah.
All I'm saying is you don't know. This is assuming that every team is staying fully healthy. All there is a chance, like a couple injuries here and there, and a good run by the Kings. They're in like a top 4 seed. To make the Western Conference Finals, they have to be in a top 4 seed, and all they'd have to do is win a favorable second round matchup. Like, it's not outrageous.
There's nothing favorable in the second round for them to play against. Any team they play in the second round, they're not going to win.
If they play against the Dallas Mavericks with Luka Doncic out.
Okay, with Luka, okay.
Out. We're adding contingencies. Okay, so the Kings are going to be fully healthy, no injuries.
It's basketball.
And they're going to have to play the Mavericks without Luka. Oh, sweet ass. No, yeah. I still don't think they'd win it. Kyrie Irving will take over. The Kings don't have it in them, man.
You just got to remember, like, the leaps that the teams took. The top 4 teams that were in the playoffs in the West last year, with a decent chance to make the Western Conference Finals. 3 of them at the start of the season, no one would have predicted they would be there.
But as the season went, we could see that there were guys like this is just you can see certain teams. The Kings, where has DeMar DeRozan gone and won? The Toronto Raptors got rid of DeMar DeRozan and won a championship straight away. He went to the Spurs. They didn't do anything. That's not on him. The Spurs weren't a good team. They weren't contending anyway. Then he went to Chicago with Zach LaVine, with Vucevic, all these guys.
Oh, Zach LaVine.
What did they do? They went to the play-in every single year with all that talent. Where did they go? They went to the play-in every single year. They didn't even make the playoffs. The last time DeMar DeRozan played in the playoffs was when? What, 2021? It's been a long time. We haven't seen him in the playoffs for ages.
You missed a key part of that story. He also went to the Spurs and was on the first Spurs team not to make the playoffs, wasn't it? There's a key part
That's
of the story.
why I say, where has DeMar DeRozan
I'm not basing this assumption on the DeMar DeRozan edition. I reckon if you asked me that before they added DeMar DeRozan, I would have been like, there is a chance that this team could make the Western Conference Finals. No. I'm not saying they wouldn't be a top 5 pick of mine, but I am just saying that if we get to the end of the season, I'm not going to be like, wow, this was a dream miracle run. This team beat all the odds, and this team achieved the West, like making it to the Western Conference Finals.
I'll put it nicely.
I wouldn't be
overly surprised. I'll put it nicely. The Bulls side, when it was first established with LaVine, Lonzo, DeRozan, Vucevic, Williams, and those players, that team that was first, Caruso, when it was first assembled, would beat the Kings now. And they did nothing. And you're telling me that this Kings side's going to potential to make the Western Conference Finals? Not even. The West is way harder than the East.
the reason why that first Bulls team was so good is because they were always injured and they were in the same ward in the hospital, so they all spent all their time together. They had a good chance to build chemistry. There's like, there's
This
there's
Kings team is, bro. I know they've got Monk. He's coming back. They've got Keon Ellis. They've got De'Aaron Fox. But we know Sabonis, the guy. We've said it, bro. Come on, let's be honest. We know Sabonis is not. His game is not built for the playoffs. You can't bully ball people, and that's what he does. DeRozan, playoff time. We know he's not. Sorry, love DeMar DeRozan as a player, but we know he's not that guy in the playoffs. You're not doing anything with that squad.
Can I ask you this? If we get to the Western Conference Finals and the Kings are there, what would you say? What would you say, reflecting back to now? Would you be like, well, I could never have seen this happening?
I would say, God, this is what you look like? Oh my God, because that's the only scenario. That's me dead. That's the only scenario that would happen. There is no other way.
I would say, fuck, that was a shit year of basketball. That's what I would say.
The Kings, no, there's certain teams where you can see. The Thunder, they surprised us, but we had seen glimpses. Shea had shown us that he is that guy. De'Aaron Fox is not on that level, same level as Shea. I'm sorry, no one can convince me. He is not on the same level as Shea. So we can see he is not that guy. There's certain that you've got to be that guy. He's not that. DeMar DeRozan shown us he's not that guy. Sabonis, we know, is not that guy. So you can have this whole team of, oh yeah, we've got Keon Ellis, Monk, Huerta, all these guys. No, you're not. No, sorry guys, you don't have that. The team that you have, sorry, you're not better than the Nuggets. You're not better than the T-Wolves. You're not better than you're not better than any of these teams, and you're not gonna make the play-in.
Okay, this is not something I'd take to my deathbed. I don't believe in it that heavily. All I was saying was I wouldn't be absolutely insanely shocked at the idea. I just believe that they were a top half of the Western Conference team, and a few dominoes fall right, I could see them there. But as far as putting money, I wouldn't put my money anywhere near close to the Kings.
Yeah, see, that's fair. That's fair game. I mean, you already took my money with the Lakers and Thunder bet last season, so I mean, I'll probably stay away from this one as well. Just, I don't want to run into any situations here, as I did last year. But I mean, listen, bro, and plus,
if you did want to put your money where your mouth is,
yeah,
Rockets, Kings.
Give me the Rockets. If you want to say that, I'll say the Rockets finish above the Kings.
Yeah, how much you want to put on it?
I agree.
We'll put a hundo. I want my hundo back.
You want your hundo back?
Yep, I want my 100 back. So we'll put 100 on that. 100 on the King. Oh, sorry, the Rockets finishing above the Kings.
Okay, write that down in pen, and we'll submit that into the board, and that'll be a final. That'll be confirmed.
We need a board like how they've got inside the NBA. So we'll start sticker noting these things. So that's the first prediction for this season.
Put it behind you. Put it behind you, and you can see.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll do that. So that's the thing for us. So that's the first official prediction for this season. We've got Anasha saying that the Houston Rockets will finish above the Sacramento Kings this season. There you go. Okay.
Jed saying they won't.
Yeah. Correct,
Jed being delusional, like DeMar DeRozan.
Okay, I wouldn't say that I'm on the delusional side of this. I would say that you strongly believe in the Rockets and the Rockets are coming. I would say you're more on the optimistic side / delusional side, whereas I'm on the house money side. I'm on the
I believe in Udoka. You know, I feel he's got that team heading in the right direction, and with Şengün coming back fully healthy with that team, I'm very happy with that prediction there. So
the real question is, can they sustain that level of success with Şengün play style? Because it was like kind of when Şengün got injured, that's when they started to win. When they had that, you know,
they just had a little bit of a minor patch in that after the All-Stars, after the All-Star break, but they'll amend it, and plus they've got training camp to get everything in order, get the house in order, and get ready for a big push because big season on the way, bro. Udoka, year 2 in Houston, is it? So I think, I'm happy, man. I'm happy with that. I think, obviously not championship, but for sure above the Kings on the standings.
I like it.
There we go. First prediction, guys. But that's the one. Anyone else got? So what's your guys' predictions for the Kings? Make the playoffs, the play-in, championship.
They'll be in the play-in, I think, and then they'll lose in the play-in.
6th seed.
Maybe the 6th seed in the Southwest Division or West Division. Nah, okay.
Well, can you
Nah,
count?
there's only
buddy?
5 teams. There's only 5 teams.
Do you know how to count, buddy?
There's only 5 teams. So you say 6th seed? Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. And you're saying play-in. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying play-in as the 10th seed, just below the Rockets.
I'll go play-in as the 9th, I reckon.
Okay. I like it a lot. I like
Crazy.
it a lot.
Interesting.
But on we go. Last episode, we had a topic where it was all-time, for their careers, who had the better career between Russell Westbrook and Kyrie Irving. Today, 2 new players. Who has had the better career all-time in the NBA between James Harden and Chris Paul? Let's kick it off, guys. So, I mean, this should be very interesting. For me, I already know what side of the fence I'm on. James Harden. For me, simple. He's much better career than Chris Paul.
Yeah, I'm
To
taking.
a large extent, no, but he's clears enough for me to say, yeah, he wins that.
I'm taking the player that there was a genuine conversation at one point that he was the greatest offensive talent that the NBA had ever seen.
Preach.
When he was so good at offense in his peak, players didn't know how to defend him. The Utah Jazz literally like, we need to stop him from step backing. We're going to start putting a defender behind him so he can't step back. That is how crazy good he got at offense. That is the lengths that team went to try and figure out a way to stop him.
Preach.
I'm taking James Harden.
Preach to the people. Power to the people. Power to James Harden. It's not even close.
Oh, is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Okay, so obviously we all know which route I'm taking.
No, could you please clarify? Because there's one obvious route, and then there's one that I'm scared. I'm scared for you if you take it.
Look, Chris Paul
No.
has had a better career than James Harden. And let me tell you why. I understand James Harden's got an MVP, which does obviously enhance his insane career, considering that, yeah, he was the best player by miles. But Chris Paul, in every team he's gone to, has elevated them in every single team that he's gone to, making playoffs, making Western Conference Finals, and doing all of that. Jed, no time yet, Jed.
Back up.
Now let him finish.
What do you mean? He has made Western Conference Finals with what?
We'll rebuttal
it's
after.
two-
We'll let you finish your point.
two
We'll let you
teams
finish
now?
your point.
And then he did make the finals once, but he sucked in that anyway. But every team he's gone to, he's elevated. He's also played in more All-Star games. He's made more All-NBA teams. He's got more accolades than James Harden, and many to all of aspects of basketball, in his assist champs, steal champs. He's made all defensive sides. I don't even think Harden's made one. I think Chris Paul's made 9. So in all, Harden's had an insanely good career, and the difference between both of them is, I don't think, anything really. I think they both had very similar accolades and careers, and Harden probably had a couple of years where he was the greatest player probably in the league. But Chris Paul also was in conversations for being one of the greatest point guards of all time, and could be considered a top 5 point guard of all time.
When was Chris Paul considered the greatest point guard of all time? When he won zero
not the
rings?
greatest. Not the greatest. I said one of the greatest, which would be top 5.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
I'd like to point out one thing that you said there. You touched on the Western Conference Finals thing. The closest, before he went to the Suns, the closest Chris Paul had ever got to succeeding in the playoffs was when he got to James Harden, and James Harden was carrying the team to that Western Conference Finals. Yeah, they almost beat the Warriors.
You're wrong, actually. You're wrong, because they were actually up in the series and Chris Paul got injured, and then they lost the series. And so you're telling me that Harden was carrying. Actually, Chris Paul was doing a sheer load amount of carrying in that series, mate.
Interesting. That would have been when James Harden was at his averaging 30 plus points per game, and what Chris Paul, what was he doing?
And
Well, I
plus,
don't know his stats, but they were going to win that series until Chris Paul got hurt.
you said that Chris Paul has elevated every team that he's been to. Elevated them where?
Yep.
To where? He went to the Clippers and elevated them
Playoffs.
to where? The second round.
Okay,
He
that's
didn't-
not his fault. That's not his fault that the team didn't add enough players around him to get him.
No.
to where he needs to go.
No. Who got injured in the playoffs in 3 different years in series and
Blake
didn't
Griffin.
play?
Blake Griffin.
Chris Paul.
Griffin.
Chris
Blake Griffin.
Paul. Chris Paul. He
Yeah.
got
Well,
injured.
so what? You're going to write him off because of injuries now? Is that
Yes,
what?
I am. Because before that point in time, even when he was healthy, playing for the Hornets, what happened?
What has James Harden done since he left Houston?
What do you mean? Since he left Houston,
What has he
what
done
did he
since
do
he
when he
left
was
Houston?
in Houston?
He's cried. Okay, cool. He was at Houston for what? However many years, and he probably had 4 or 5, 6 sensational years, and since then he's done nothing. He's just becoming pretty much a role player, a really good role player.
That's
you're
the same
telling
thing
me that-
that's the same thing that Chris Paul has done.
Chris Paul's had a steady career the entire way through, where he's elevated teams and players and people, and you were writing him off so easily just from a snippet of James Harden's career.
No. Because Chris Paul, when was he drafted?
and because of
2005.
injuries.
When did Chris Paul make the conference finals for the first time? When did he make the conference finals for the first time? 2018, when he joined who?
2018?
James Harden. James Harden.
When,
Since
when-
I know what the
I would
argument's
like
going to
add-
be.
I would like to add,
Yeah.
when James Harden was the MVP.
Yeah.
So when James Harden was the best player in the league and made it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, and who elevated him?
Chris
Paul.
no.
100%.
James Harden had
Chris-
already made the conference finals in 2015 with the Rockets. There you go.
Yeah, well,
Because
you know
the
what?
argument was going to be, oh, well, James Harden only made the conference finals when he was with the Thunder getting carried by Westbrook and KD. And what did he do? He said, I don't even need them. I'm with the Rockets now. Made the conference finals with the Rockets, with Dwight Howard and all them. Now, I know what the argument's going to be. Oh, he had 10 turnovers in the game 5. Well, he still made the conference finals. Chris Paul was there for 13 years with the Hornets. And all those Clippers teams
What?
that Chris
It wasn't
Paul was
the thir-
on were
wasn't
better
there
than the
13 years with
Rockets.
the
The
Hornets,
Rockets
brother.
teams they had.
It wasn't 13 years with the Hornets. It wasn't
Chris
13
Paul
years.
has been on some of the most underachieving teams of all time. And you said more accolades. I just would like to touch on that.
What do you
point as
mean?
well.
Okay, no. Firstly, James Harden, since leaving Houston, has been with all-stars, stars of the game, and has underachieved in every single one of those teams. Chris Paul was elevated teams to the playoffs, elevated players. And what do you mean? What do you mean?
We
Jay
can't give the
Gildas
guy credit just
Alexander
for
was
elevating teams
underneath
to the
Chris Paul
playoffs.
and developed as a player.
Well, your whole
Are you
argument
telling
can't
me
be-
that Shai Gildas would be the player he is today if
Uh,
he didn't spend that year with
That
Chris
is
Paul?
crazy. So
Devin Booker and the Suns as well. Are you
Devin-
telling me that they would be the same
Devin
team
Booker-
if Chris Paul wasn't there?
The thing is, you've got to remember, the Suns quickly identified, they're like, this ain't for us. We're moving on from Chris Paul because we don't think we can win a championship with this guy.
Yeah, I agree with that. They couldn't win a championship
Rockets-
with Chris Paul.
the
They couldn't win a
Rockets-
championship with Chris Paul, but they could develop the team to a point where they could get one other extra piece to win the
So what?
championship.
He's better all time
Rock-
because he helped develop players. No, we can't do that. No way. No
He's-
way.
He's had a better career. He's got way more accolades.
So how
Accolades.
many-
Why did
on
he want
on
an
that-
MVP over him?
I would like to point out, yes, Chris Paul has more all NBA selections, but James Harden has been top 4 in the MVP race more times than Chris Paul has been all NBA first team.
Okay. James, yeah, that might be true, but also Chris Paul is in the top. What is it? MVP votes, top 3 or top 4 picks, whatever. Is only 3 behind James Harden in that aspect as well.
Yeah, but
No.
has Chris Paul won the MVP? No. Has Chris Paul won a scoring title? No. Chris Paul's been all NBA first team 4 times. James Harden 6 times. That's all I need to know, bro. That's all I need to know. Because Chris Paul,
There was a stretch.
bro, they said that Chris Paul was the best point guard in the league from 2008 until 2015. Made 0 conference finals appearances. Made 0 NBA finals. Did not win a championship, yet he's supposedly the best point guard in the league. My guy. Steph Curry, when he was the best point guard in the league, made the finals. Westbrook, when he was in the conversation, made the conference finals. Chris Paul, the so-called best point guard in the league over 7 years, made the same amount of conference finals appearances as all of us combined, and we don't play in the NBA. Nada. Not a fucking one. There you go. Tells you everything you need to know, bro. James Harden, all-time better player. Because when James Harden was the guy on the Rockets team, 2015, they went to the conference finals. When he was the guy in 2018, they went to the conference finals. All those other years, it wasn't like, oh, they were slouching. They were still a really good team. They were just in the era of the Warriors, which is no shame, bro. You lost the Warriors, cool. But still, he got to the conference finals. Chris Paul, as the guy, never even touched it.
And I think that the main difference is a lot of teams add James Harden because they want him to elevate them to that championship level. A lot of teams have had Chris Paul and they're going to be like, yeah, this is nice for a year, but we want to move on because we don't think this is going to win us a championship. And I reckon that's consistent. As much as you're like, yeah, he's had some good runs over the year, but there's a lot of teams that have moved on from him what seems like too early rather than too late.
Teams that add Chris Paul and have had Chris Paul in them elevate and then do things like make playoffs, make conference finals, make finals after he's gone. Because he's developing players. You can't tell me that Chris Paul's not having an impact on these players.
We're not debating his ability to coach.
Yeah, we're not debating who's the better player development guy. If we were debating that, Chip England would be the best development guy. He's developed Kawhi and all those guys.
I don't even know who that is.
In
all our career, he's had a sensational career, and I reckon he's had a better career than James Harden.
No, you say
Harden had an aspect of his career where he was sensational and probably one of the best, if not the best, in the league. But Chris Paul was being consistent his entire way through by being one of the best point guards in current time, and when he first came in, he's consistently just developed on it.
The difference is like the framing and like the positioning of the argument has to be Chris Paul at one point was the best point guard in the league. James Harden at one point was talked about one of the best players offensively that's ever played the game. In a game that is defined by offense, James Harden was talked about as one of the best players offensively to have ever played the game. He was changing the game with his Euro step, with his step backs. He was changing the rules. People were so frustrated watching him because no one could stop him. No one could stop him from scoring. It was insanely intense to watch those games because he just wouldn't stop scoring. 36 points per game as a guard for a whole season. You're just discrediting that. Yeah.
I'm not discrediting that. I'm not discrediting that. But when you have a team that sucks and then all you got to do is shoot the ball, you're going to get points. Doncic has showed us that that's what happens. Giannis has showed us that that's what happens. Curry has showed us that's what happens.
Their second player, when James Harden was consistently making the playoffs as that elite guy, was Clint Capella. Clint fucking Capella.
And look at Chris Paul.
They suck. So he just shot the ball.
Chris Paul had the Lob City Clippers for how many years? And they made 0 conference finals. If you have supposedly...
You know why that is, and we all know why that is.
Yeah, because Chris Paul was the point guard.
They had Glenn. They
had Chris Paul.
And Glenn is no good.
Chris Paul supposedly
Glenn has the brain cells of Austin, and it's not great.
Chris Paul, the supposed best point guard in the NBA from 2008 to 2015, had 0 conference finals appearances. The guy that was supposedly the best point guard, or even close to being a top 5 player, because who was it? They said it was LeBron, it was Kobe, it was Dwight, it was Chris Paul, and there was one other guy. They said that's the top 5. If he's top 5, how come he never even went to the finals? Dwight Howard went to the finals, leading the Orlando Magic. Kobe went to the finals. LeBron went to the finals. D-Wade went to the finals. Who was the one guy in that best 5 that never made it? Chris Paul. Who else made it? KD, Westbrook. These guys made it. Chris Paul never made it. Steph Curry made it. Chris Paul never made it. We can keep going in the cycle because Chris Paul is just not on that tier. He's a tier 2, tier 3. He's not tier 1 like James Harden.
Every single player you've just named, every single player are scorers, bucket getters, carry the team on the back because they can just get points and score and ridiculous. Chris Paul is a pass-first point guard who assists everybody and elevates players and teams. So he doesn't carry because he doesn't get buckets all the time. He has a ridiculous true shooting percentage.
But true shooting, we just said just then, it's about score. You need to score in key moments and put your team over the line. Push your team over the line when you need to do it. Dwight Howard is not a known scorer, but when he needed to do so against the Cavs, against the Celtics to make it to the NBA Finals, he did that. Chris Paul had the opportunity to go out there and beat these other teams. Never did it. Obviously, he had the game win against the Spurs in Game 7, I think, 2014, 2015. That's about it. That's the opportunity. That season, they could have gone and done it. But what happened? Chris Paul got injured. There's so many situations where we can keep saying that. But even when he was healthy, they never made it far with Chris Paul as the guy. When Harden was healthy, the Rockets made it to places. They did things easy. Yeah. So, I mean, the only fair thing to do is, as we did with the last one, with Kyrie and Westbrook, is to put this one to the fans. So, you let us know who has had the better career all time between Chris Paul and James Harden. So, I say James Harden. I don't say it's by a lot, but I think it's enough where it's James Harden definitely has had the better career. Jed, you've chosen your side too.
Yeah, I go James Harden, and I just like to emphasize the fact that James Harden, his legacy will last the test of time. I don't think Chris Paul's will.
Okay, yeah, I'm obviously going to go Chris Paul, but I think it's very close. I think they're probably on par. But I think Chris Paul's had a better career. And the fact that you think Chris Paul isn't going to go close is actually absurd. He is arguably a top 5 point guard of all time.
We'll definitely put that poll up there. Who's had the better career all time between James Harden and Chris Paul? So you guys let us know your thoughts over on Instagram. We'll post that up. And then obviously head over to YouTube if you want to watch the podcast or if you want to watch the segments, these sort of topics we've discussed. If you want to just listen to certain segments, we have those videos up now on YouTube. So if you're listening to this now, you can go over to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. In terms of us, I mean, we're dipping out, but we got another episode coming out this week. Then next week, we got 2 episodes, one focused on the West, one focused on the East, getting you ready for the season. And make sure that if you are new to the podcast, listening for the first time, leave us a review and make sure that you go share the podcast with your family, your friends, your colleagues, wherever you're listening, and go follow us on social media. Journey to 500 on TikTok, journey to 1,000 on Instagram. Guys, it's been real. It's been another episode. Shout out to the fans. We shall catch you guys on the next one. Dunk Dynasty Podcast. Signing out.